sous vide against the traditional method of cooking steaks. So I've got 2 New Yorks over here that I'm gonna put into the sous vide bath. And then I've got 2 New Yorks, the exact same cuts, that I'm gonna sear on this and cook it in a more traditional way. Now, ultimately, I'm gonna sear the sous vide ones as well after they're done because it needs a crust, and that's the only thing when you're doing sous vide, it doesn't have that crust, but we'll see how it turns out. For the traditional method, I will sear it on the pan first, and then I'm gonna throw it in the oven because that's how I prefer to kind of finish it off in there because it's really thick. It's 1.5 inches thick. So I'm gonna prepare the New York for the sous vide bath, and I'm going to do that by putting it into these Ziploc bags. So I'm going to keep this really simple. Oh, by the way, I'm using the Breville Plus app here to control the sous vide. So I'm going to keep this very simple. I'm just going to be using salt and pepper for both steaks, and I'm using a clarified butter. The instructions say put some kind of oil inside the bags. I'm just going to use clarified butter because I like the flavor of it. Salt and pepper for both. I will be putting the clarified butter into the Ziploc bag. The sous vide bath is preheated to 129 degrees because I want to make these medium rare. That's my preferred doneness for steaks. And I'm going to go ahead and put them into these bags. The directions say 1.5 hours. So while that's getting ready, I'm gonna go to the grocery store and buy some side dishes. Now, I've heard from my buddy Grant at Chef Steps, who actually invented the sous vide that I'm using today. He weighs his salt and pepper, which is smart because then you know exactly how much you want onto your food. I'm not gonna do that today. I'm just gonna straight up put some salt and pepper on here. I haven't sous vide in years. I personally enjoy the traditional method of cooking steaks, whether it's pan frying and basting or just searing and putting in the oven. I think it's a better flavor, but because I haven't done a side-by-side comparison, I thought that'd be interesting to do. One thing I've never done is use clarified butter in this. Just a little bit. I don't think it needs very much. Let's see how that turns out. Okay, so I'm going to take out as much air right here, but ultimately I'll let the water kind of do the work because what happens is the water pushes out some of the air. Close this up about 90% of the way. And I'll put this off to the side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just suck out the air. There we go. Let me do the second one. Boom. This is the first time I'm using this. Start timer now, called a Joule. All right, it takes 1.5 hours to do medium rare. And I will just wait and, as I mentioned, get those side dishes at the grocery store. One thing that is convenient about doing sous vide, especially if you're entertaining a lot of people, if you've got a big party, you can get this started at the beginning of the day, especially if you've got an app and just set it, have it automatically start, and then it'll be ready for when you want to cook later. So I've never used an app, so I'm excited about this because before I had another sous vide tool and I literally just used the controls on there, but with this machine, use the app. These steaks that I'm gonna sear and put into the oven, I'm just gonna let it sit out on the counter and get up to temp. I personally like to let my steaks rest for about 1 to sometimes up to 3 hours to really get to room temperature. And you're gonna be totally fine. I've never had an issue. I've done this since I first moved out and started making my own steak. So I will cook these first before I sear the sous vide New Yorks. I don't know if I mentioned it, but these are New Yorks. We're gonna do the spinach pasta salad, mac and cheese, and JoJo potatoes. Broccolini. Gonna hold this. Thank you. Super quick. Just some side dishes and vegetables for other days. All right, so I just got home and the steaks are already done. In fact, it's way beyond the 1.5 hours, and the app is really cool because it tells you the prime time of post cooking or post sous vide stage. And when I got here, it said it's still got 40 minutes. Obviously, it's been 6 minutes after that. That is a really cool thing that you never had if you do this manually. So that's cool. I mean, this is one of the benefits of having an app. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this out, pat dry it, and then get it prepared for searing over here. So I plated the sous vide ones, and yes, it has kind of a strange color. It's just because it's partially cooked. Technically, I think you can eat this the way it is, but of course I'm going to sear it. This one has been sitting on this plate for the last couple hours. I'm going to pat dry these. This is a little tip that I learned from my friend Matt, a cook named Matt, so that you get a nice clean sear, especially if it's been sitting out and it's kind of gotten a little moist on the outside. And you do this before you salt and pepper it. So I'm gonna go do this for both of these. It's been a while since I've sous vide, so I don't know if I should salt and pepper this, but I'm definitely going to pat dry this as well, because I will for sure sear this. Now this is way more wet because the juice is slightly released from it. So the plan is to cook the raw steaks first. I'm gonna pan sear it, then I'm gonna throw it into the oven, 500 degrees. I'm just gonna get it to medium rare. Then I'm going to sear the sous vide steaks afterwards, let both of them rest for a little bit, and then we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison. We'll see which one Judy likes more. But first I need to salt and pepper this one. My method is I'm gonna put it fat side down. Right now I've got it on about a medium heat, and the cast iron, which by the way is one of the best things to use to cook a steak, is already nice and heated through. So what I'm trying to do is render some of that fat out, and that's what I'm gonna use to cook the steak on. See, all that fat, use it. Plus it cooks it, and it's so delicious. When cooking these steaks though, I will time it. I can feel they're still slightly cold. I typically like it when it's room temperature, but there we go. And then what you want to do is really press it down so it adheres to the surface of the cast iron. Same thing here. You're going to definitely want to turn on your fan because it's about to get smoky in here. Normally I do this outside, but I am just doing it in the house because I don't want to cook in the cold. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 minutes on each side, and then once that's done, I'm going to flip it, do it 2 more minutes. If it needs a little bit more searing to get a crust, I'll do it 1 minute on each side again. So timer just went off, time to flip it. That definitely needs another searing. So what I'm going to do is turn up the heat. All right, so one thing I am going to do is put a little clarified butter underneath. I'm going to move it like that, just a little bit. It doesn't take that much at this point. And I'm going to flip it. Oh yeah, that's looking way better. Do that with the other one too. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Very smoky, got a great crust. Guys, when you're cooking at home, this is the only downside. You need to have your fan all the way on. I had to upgrade my hood range vent because it got smoky in here, so this is the only downside to cooking steaks like this. Timer just went off. What I'm gonna do now is, because it's got a nice sear, I'm gonna put this into the oven. Woo-hoo-hoo, look at that. Oh my gosh, that's what I'm going for right there. Get the other one. Oh my Lord, that's what you want right there. I'm gonna turn off the heat of this guy. Open up the oven. And I'm literally just gonna put this in there. And this is really important. You've got to temp the steak every few minutes just to make sure it gets to 130 degrees. So I'm gonna crank the heat back up now. And this is where I'm gonna cook the sous vide steaks. Now I will add a little bit of the clarified butter that I made earlier. I have a video on it, so I'll link that later. Put it in like that. I'm gonna need gloves for this for sure. And all we're doing here is searing the outside. So this doesn't need to cook through. It's already technically cooked. So let's go ahead and get it on there. Whoa! It's definitely a little bit more moist than it should be, but that's okay. I'll just go for it. There we go. And then you're just trying to sear the outside. I'll show you a little trick I learned from the internet about how to get a really good sear on this. It's really hard because it's a little wet, even though I pat dried it. But yeah, this is gonna be kind of a juggle because I got both steaks to deal with. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip this. I'm gonna move that around. Oh my gosh, that is a good sear right there. Move this around too. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I don't need to do my little trick. I'll show you later though what you can do. Set the timer for 1 more minute. Alright, so now, if I check on these steaks, I'm going to temp it. Oh, that's very smoky. And they look really similar. I'm actually kind of surprised. Thermometer. You've got to have a thermometer. So I'm looking for 130. Hopefully I didn't go beyond it. Oh, that's actually really good. I might just leave it there. Wow, it's rare that I get like that precise. Got 1, 2 people on that one. Oh yeah, these are good to go. All right, so I'm just gonna sear this one. I'll transfer it to that pan, and then we'll be good to go. Oh yeah, oh baby, that's good. I gotta make sure I keep track. Oh my gosh. I'll just put that aside real quick. The fat. Just real quick with the residual heat. I think these are good to go. That turned out really nicely. So we got the sous vide ones. They feel great. We got the pan seared, thrown in the oven ones. They feel a little actually overdone, but we'll let these rest and we'll be good to go. That's the one I pan seared and put in the oven. Here is the sous vide one.
They look really good.
Sous vide, pan fried.
Wait, the sous vide one looks way longer.
Sous vide.
I saw it earlier when I was getting
Traditional.
strawberries. The strawberries weren't that good. They kind of tasted like a little bit old.
Oh, are you hungry?
I shared some with Bella. Yes, I am.
Are you excited for steak?
Yeah.
We haven't had it in a while. Yeah. So a little trick I do, this fancies it up. I'm just gonna put a little bit of the clarified butter right over the top.
How do you get clarified butter?
Just a little bit.
How do you get it? How do you make it?
You just boil the butter and separate the milk solid from the fat.
I don't know what any of those words mean, but okay.
But this is just gonna make it a little more decadent.
It looks like way different. It looks so much better. This camera's
I want you to do a
warm.
taste test because I cook these differently.
Oh, how'd you cook them? Actually, no, I don't want to know.
Afterwards.
Did you put like anchovies in them?
No.
Just kidding. These are the steaks. They look so delicious. I'm gonna eat them.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and slice these guys. First off, we'll get the, that one is the traditionally cooked one. And then this one, sous vide. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna try this first piece myself. So this is overcooked for my preference, but still good. I did temp it, but I noticed one of them was a little bit hot. One of the things with steak is as it sits, it cooks even more. Oh ho ho ho! You can already tell the sous vide one though. It's way more tender on the inside, but very similar. Oh yeah, one has kind of a little bit thicker more blockier profile. The other one was flatter and more like a sirloin almost. Go ahead, try from each one and tell me what you think. Is it good? All right, I'm gonna also try try the traditional cooked. Now try this one. Put that one down. Just remember that's yours. How the sous vide one?
Yeah, that tastes different.
Which one do you like better to choose from the two? So this is really my bad. I didn't put more salt. What I should do is just dress it up with a little more salt on top. This one's way more flavorful. So personally, I prefer the traditionally made one, but it's a little overcooked.
I like to cook like this.
The good thing about sous vide, almost guarantees the doneness. It's medium rare. By the way, this is a Costco steak.